are to Meg's Magical Mansion, a virtual guest house for spiritual wayfarers, a place where the ordinary becomes magical, where wisdom is yours for the asking, and where your higher nature is just a wish away. Thank you so much for joining us here today at Meg's Magical Mansion. I'm Meg, and this is my trusty butler, Scallion. And of course, in my lap is my beautiful assistant, Miss Alice Pooper. Thank you so much, Scallion. We're so glad you're here today, because today we're going to be talking all about divination. Exciting one. Was that exciting for you, Alice Poopers? She's like, I don't know. Well, that means it is time for Words of Wisdom, and today our words of wisdom come to us from the author and kaleidoscope collector, Gwendolyn Womack. And they are, to divine is to imagine the world rightly, to see past the illusion that we are separate from the entire fabric of reality. Shall we meditate on that, Miss Poops? I think we shall. Breathe in. Breathe out. Feel your entire body relax. And focus on the point between your eyebrows. As you feel your third eye opening and your mind expanding. The veil is thin. If you're quiet and you're still, you can hear from the other side. Breathe in, breathe out. Allow your third eye to open and receive. Oh, I do think I was in touch with the divine there for a moment. And today we are talking about divination. Divination is basically seeking knowledge of the unknown or the future by supernatural methods. It's trying to find hidden meanings or the causes of events through supernatural methods. And divination has been found in all civilizations, both ancient and modern. Fascinating, I find that fact. Today, I'm going to tell you a little bit about how I use divination in my practice. Plus, I'm going to try a brand new form of divination that I've never tried before. So stick around. We're going to have fun, and we're going to see what we can find out about the unknown. As a kitchen witch, I use divination in my practice frequently, on a regular basis, and the two main forms of divination I use are tarot cards and pendulums. So let's start off with tarot cards. Tarot cards are a type of cartomancy where cards are used to help gain insight into your past, present, and future. You formulate a question, and then you draw cards in a specific pattern or spread and interpret them to help you find answers to your questions. There are 78 cards in a tarot deck. They are divided into two major parts, the major arcana and the minor arcana. And then the minor arcana is again divided into four suits, kind of like regular playing cards. You have cups, which represent water. You have wands, which represent fire. You have pentacles, which represent earth. And you have swords, which represent air. There are many different spreads or layouts you can put your cards in. Many different spreads, like many. So all the advice I can give you is find the one that works for you and use it. You could do a 3-card spread, a 5-card spread, a 12-month spread, how about a 7-day spread? And then there's ones like Celtic Cross. There's just so many. So whichever ones work for you. I normally end up doing a lot of 3-day spreads because they're quick, easy, and you can kind of do them on the run. But I still do enjoy sometimes sitting down and doing a full Celtic Cross. That does take a little bit of time. People say Should you read for yourself, yes or no? Guys, that is up to you. Some people will not read for themselves. They think they're just too clouded up in their own mind to get a clear reading. Other people pull cards for themselves all the time and use it all the time to help them, guide them through their daily life. This is really up to you how you want to use the cards. Personally, I do read for myself and I do pull cards for myself, not every day, but I would say usually I will do a 3-card spread at least once a week. Usually about once a week. And if I do it more often, it will be for more specific reasons. Like I might do a reading about abundance and prosperity or finances and money. And that's specific for that. I might do a reading about, love and relationships. That would be a specific reading. Or you could just do a general reading about what's the next, what are the next few days going to be like. It's whatever question you have, you can use the cards to help you find answers. Do these cards seem magical to me? Well, I'm sorry guys, to me pretty much everything seems magical, so yes. But I think the main thing that the tarot cards do is they force you to look inside yourself for these answers. They really kind of make you intuit them and dig into tying into your own personal intuition, trying to access that Akashic record yourself. So we talked about this a lot in our episode on intuition. You might want to look at that episode if you haven't watched it. And it ties in very much with tarot card reading because it is extremely intuitive. Tarot cards, you can memorize the pictures all day and what they're supposed to mean if you want to, but that will not make you a good reader. Being a good reader it's based on being able to read the energy coming off the cards. The cards are just there to give you the energy off the situation. And the colors in the cards are really important. A lot of times I'm not exactly reading cards so much as I'm reading energy and colors. So whatever the card also means for you, if it means that for you every time you see it, the universe will know that. The card could mean something completely different to another reader. But if every time you see a card, it always means this to you, the universe will know that. And they'll send that card to you to mean that. So what you decide the cards mean for you is much more important than what a book tells you they mean. So read the energy, look at the colors. Also, I look at little details in the pictures on the cards because different times and different readings, different details pop out to me. And the detail that pops out to me, I usually need to pay attention. I'm getting a message. So when I do read, I have my cards over here. I keep them over on my altar. I keep some crystals on top of them when I'm not using them. I use 2 decks. I use the standard Rider-Waite deck. This is what I learned on. You could see mine has a little wear and tear on it because I use it. So again, I'm not going to pull a spread on camera because I don't do on-camera readings. I know a lot of people do. You're going to go, Poops, bye. Bye, Alice Poops. I know a lot of people do readings, but I am not. I normally don't do readings for money. And I just read for myself, my friends, and my family. That is pretty much what I do with the tarot cards. My other deck, I love this deck. It is such a beautiful deck. And this one doesn't relate. My other deck, oh, Alice Poopers loves Velcro. Velcro's funny. My other deck that I use is the Green Witch Tarot deck, which is absolutely the artwork on this deck. Really, this deck really spoke to me. I use 2 decks when I do a reading because I'll use one deck to lay down my basic reading, and then I like to use my second deck to clarify the original spread I laid out. So if I have further questions or I want more information on why a card appeared, I can use my second deck to clarify. And it really doesn't matter which deck I use to put down the initial reading. The nice thing about this is using 2 decks for me is if there's certain cards that the universe is trying to show me, I'll get them twice because I'll get them from this deck and I'll get them from that deck. Oh, I had a reading just today where certain cards came up and then I threw down the clarifiers and the clarifiers were it was a 3-card spread. When I threw down the clarifiers, 2 of the 3 cards reappeared from the second deck, the exact same cards. And that's the universe telling you, like, I mean it. I mean it when I give you this card. So tarot cards are a great way to help you tap into your intuition, help you read energy, help you answer questions about your past, present, and future. But remember, you can't learn how to read these puppies from a book. You really can't. If you really want to learn how to read tarot cards, I suggest that you watch some of the readers on YouTube. There are some fantastic ones, and I will link a couple of my favorite ones in the description below that you may want to follow. What's been one of the best ways I've learned how to be a better reader. I was already reading cards, but I've learned a lot of tips and a lot of interesting things by watching some of these readers on YouTube who are amazing. So tarot cards, definitely something I use for divination. If I have a tough question or decision to make or something going on in my life I don't understand, I get out my cards and I get a little clarification. And people come to me because they got something going on and they just want a little help making sense of it and clarifying it. And tarot cards are fantastic for that. And giving you a little heads up, like, what does the universe want you to know about what might be coming so you can be ready for it. This is my pendulum. I bought this at a local metaphysical shop. My pendulum is made out of glass. You can get them made out of all different kinds of crystal, stone, all kinds of things. I have a crystal necklace that also works very well. It has a chain and it has a little ball up here at the top. I don't know, different people might hold theirs in different ways. I generally pinch here and then drape it over my index finger like that, and then it can swing freely. Now, I have an adorable little mat. You don't have to have an adorable little mat, but I happen to have one. Take a look, and it's all set up for my pendant, and you work with your pendant and train it, and train each other really, you and your pendant, so that you understand how you're going to be answering questions. Mostly it's side to side, yes, up and down, no, and then the diagonals are for rephrase and for maybe. So, and I also have a little thing worked out with my pendant where if we get a circle like this, that means I don't know, IDK. So I like using my little mat, but for years I didn't have a little mat, so I just use nothing. If you want to, you could draw on a piece of paper. There I just drew a little mat that you could use, and then you could just hold your pendant and ask it a question. And a yes/no question. First, I like to start off by just speaking and asking if anyone is there. Being very polite again when you're opening these portals. Always try to be polite and use good manners. You don't know who you're talking to. It's like picking up a phone and you don't know who's on the other end. Sometimes nobody's on the other end. Sometimes somebody talks to you. Maybe you're talking to your own inner higher self. I don't know. But you might start by saying is there any energy here that would like to communicate, and then just wait patiently. If someone wants to communicate, your pendulum will swing this way. Sometimes I feel like I'm talking to a spirit or a spirit guide. Sometimes I feel like I'm really digging deep into my own higher self and trying to access the Akashic record and get answers that way. It really depends on what I'm looking for, what kind of questions I'm asking, and what kind of mood I'm in. So that's how I use my pendulum. Many people use Ouija boards to help them with divination, answer questions, make contact with the spirit world. I personally don't use Ouija boards all that much, but many people do. It takes usually 2 or more people to operate a Ouija board, and by placing your fingers on the stylus gently, the spirits use your energy and they can move the stylus about and answer your questions with a yes, a no, or by spelling out the answer. Again, when you are using things like Ouija boards and pendulums and other divination portals, just be aware that it's kind of like going on a public chat room. Anybody can chit chat with you. So always be polite, always think about who is this I am speaking to, and if you are not happy with who you're speaking to, quickly try to politely end your conversation, and then I would do a complete cleansing of whatever instrument I was using. I do cleanse all of my things a lot anyway, like pendulums, the Ouija board, which again I don't use that often, but my cards, I do a lot of smoke cleansing and crystals to cleanse and charge them. Salt, if you have a particular problem with a thing you've been using and you feel it's been just bringing you in a lot of negative energy, you can use salt, you can put protection spells on your things. You can do a lot of things to keep yourself safe while you are opening up these portals and attempting to communicate. And today I am going to try out a new form of divination for me, something I've never tried before, so I'm feeling a little bit excited about that. Okay, today we are going to scry, which means to foretell the future by using a reflective object or surface, like a crystal ball or a black mirror. To scry means to see or to peep, to detect messages and visions for personal guidance, prophecy, for revelation, fortune telling. Back in Victorian times, a lot of contact with the spirit world, seances, many of these things were extremely popular. So much so that at the turn of the 20th century, in early 1900s, you could get Halloween cards that showed people scrying, and people believed if you looked in the mirror when the veil was thin, you would see the image of the man you would marry. That's great, I love it. So a lot of these traditions, and some of the funny ones like the Bloody Mary dare, if you look in the mirror 3 times and say Bloody Mary 3 times, her ghost will appear. A lot of these things kind of came into being through mirror use and the idea of to scry or to see or to peep into the spirit world. Of course, I'm sure everyone knows that right now with Samhain coming up, Halloween, that the veil is becoming very, very thin. This is the time of year when divination is easiest, because that veil that separates us from the spirit world is becoming thinner and thinner as we lead up to Samhain coming up at the end of October. So this is a great time to try some divination. So today I'm going to show you how to make a black mirror. We're going to head over into the kitchen because it's going to get a little messy with some paint, and let's take a look at how we can make a black mirror with some easy to find items. Hey, welcome into the kitchen. I'm going to show you how to make a black mirror for divination purposes. Here's what you're going to need. A picture frame, any kind of picture frame. This is what I had. It looked kind of fancy. I thought it would be cool. Some black paint, of course a paintbrush, something to cut with, scissors, I have a rotary cutter, some black velvet, some little scrap of black velvet. So, step 1, open up your picture frame and take out the glass and clean the glass. Okay, now we're going to paint one side of this glass with just some black craft paint. Now, just let that dry. I'm going to take the back of the picture frame and I'm going to use that as a template to cut out some black velvet. Now, to assemble your black mirror, you're going to take your picture frame, put the glass in with the paint facing up towards you, put the velvet down towards the painted glass, then take the back of the picture frame, there you have your black mirror. Now some tips about using this. What you want to do is sit down and meditate. Get your mind clear. A lot of suggestions are to use a candle, but you want it so it's not directly shining into the mirror, but perhaps reflecting just off where you cannot see it in the mirror. So if you take a look here, you could see the flame. So you want to maybe move it just off to where you cannot see it. You probably want to get into a nice quiet space, dark, where you can focus and concentrate and meditate, much like gazing into a crystal ball. There is my black mirror. It's all finished and set up. I put some dried roses and baby's breath in front of it and surrounded it with pictures of my ancestors who have crossed over into spirit to try to encourage them to come and visit me through the portal of the black mirror. Between now and Halloween, the veil is thinning and contact with the spirit world is easiest at this time. And now we're going to talk about dowsing rods. Dowsing rods have been around since the dawn of time. You know, the little forked stick that people use to help them find water. These are my dowsing rods. They come in a pair. This cylinder is completely separate, so they are free floating. They can spin around. Woo-hoo, hot today with the dowsing rods. But you can use these not only to find things like oil and water or even missing items, but you can also use them to ask questions of spirit world. And sometimes the spirit world will answer you. So what you do is you just hold them very steady in your hands, try not to move, and you just wait for them to settle. And then you try to ask some questions of spirit world, and perhaps someone will come and chat with you. And you can ask yes and no questions, just like with the pendulum. If the answer is yes, the rods will cross and make an X. If the answer is no, they will stay parallel. So right now let's ask, is anyone here who would like to talk to us? Looks like we're getting a little activity. Thank you so much. Would you open the rods, please, so we could ask you another question? Are you a spirit that we know here in the mansion? Are you familiar to us? So we've got somebody that we know. Thank you. Did you have anything in particular to say to us today? Any message for us? And spirit doesn't always have to have a particular message. Sometimes they just stop by to say hello. And apparently this is the case. Thank you so much. Do I personally know you, Spirit? Are you the spirit of someone I personally know or knew? Does Scallion know you? Does Parfait know you? Does Biaware know you? Does Alice Pooper know you? But we know you here at the mansion. Do we all know you? Thank you so much. Have you been watching over us? Have you been hanging out here for a long time in the mansion? Thank you. Were you here in the mansion before I moved into the mansion? Thank you so much. Are you happy with the way we're doing things here in the mansion? Not sure. Oh, maybe we are. Wow, I guess we are. We are. Thank you. Wow. Took you a minute. Will you be here to help us with future episodes? Because I could sure use all the help I could get. Thank you. Well, we're going to say thank you for visiting with us today. We really enjoyed talking to you. And I hope you'll be watching our future episodes from Spirit World. But I do wonder how many subscribers we might have in Spirit World. Do you know, do we have a lot of subscribers in Spirit? Oh, I better let you open them. It's hard to answer when they're closed. Do we have a lot of subscribers in Spirit World? Or viewers, I should say. I know they can't really subscribe. Do we have a lot of viewers in Spirit World? Are they? Oh, wow, that's great. Are all you spirits entertained by us? We're trying to be very entertaining for everyone. Well, please keep viewing. I hope all your friends watch. I wish you all could push that red subscribe button. I have to go now, friendly spirit, lovely spirit. I really appreciate your talking with me today. Thank you very, very, very much for your time, for your energy, for sending your energy our way. And keep enjoying those episodes. And there you go. So there was a good example of dowsing rods. Now, a few pointers. Whenever you are doing any kind of divination activity, always be respectful of the spirits you're speaking to. It's extremely important to be polite. You don't know who you're speaking to, so always use your best manners. I want you to know, I want people to know that we're teaching you right. Yes, always be kind and be pleasant and be polite to your spirits. You will get much better communication, and you just don't want to be like a nasty, rude person, so don't be a nasty, rude person to spirits. A few more pointers when you're going to do any kind of divination activity or practice. Take some time and meditate. Now, before I even started filming or talking to you about any of this stuff today, I did a very long, deep meditation. I found a wonderful YouTube video with a meditation, a guided meditation, and I will put the link below so you can check that out. I made some of my third eye opening tea, and I got myself in a really good frame of mind before I even started filming, so that when I started using things like my dowsing rods or my pendulum, or I didn't really use my cards, but even when I'm handling my tarot cards, all of these times I want to make sure that I'm really focused and ready to be open to receive the messages. Now, some people say divination is just make-believe, you're just making stuff up. You guys can believe what you want to believe. Some people believe it's not really spirits. They think you're just really tapping into your own self, and maybe you're tapping into the Akashic record that way, which that wouldn't be bad either. But whether you're talking to spirits or whether you're tapping into your Akashic record through your own higher self, divination can really help you with making important decisions, figuring out what's going to happen, and how you want to help you be prepared for things that are coming down the road. So, dowsing rods, black mirror, tarot cards, pendulum. We've just looked at a few ways today that you can practice divination. I'll tell you something I'm very interested in trying next is crystal ball. I really want a crystal ball. So that's next on my list to try. And it's good to keep expanding your practice and try out new things to see which ones work best for you. I have to tell you, I've always had very, very, very good success with dowsing rods and pendulums. It has something to do with my energy. So find the things that work for you and go for it. Again, be polite. And remember, you're opening up a portal. You can speak to anybody. You don't know who's going to come through. So bear that in mind. By the way, the fairies have been super busy getting their magical fairy grotto all fixed up for fall. Let's go take a look. Well, as usual, it's been another busy day here at the mansion. I hope you've enjoyed our conversation on divination. I realize we have barely scratched the surface of this very interesting topic, so please make sure you stick around for future episodes because we'll be delving in deeper on a lot of the things we just barely touched on today. And please remember, in the words of Buddha, thousands of candles can be lit from a single candle, and the life of the candle will not be shortened. Happiness never decreases by being shared. So thank you so much for sharing your time with us here today. And please don't forget, like, share, subscribe, ring the bell. Check us out on Instagram. And we'll see you next week at Meg's Magical Mansion.